The Crafty Blog Stalker here from thecraftyblogstalker.com, and I have to tell you, I love paper crafting. There really are so many fun things that you can do with paper. You can cut it, bend it, twist it, curl it, decoupage it, cut it, fold it, so many different options. Now, because I love to work with paper so much, that also means that I have a ton of paper scraps. This is just some of the leftover pattern paper that I have from various scrapbook projects or paper crafting projects. And you can just see all of these fun papers and patterns, and of course you spend money on this stuff, so you don't want to get rid of it. So you always save lots of these squares of leftover pattern paper. Well, I also have this styrofoam wreath form, and I am going to show you how you can take all of your bits of paper, leftover scrapbook paper, and make a gorgeous wreath. So I'm going to start with this piece of paper right here, and the nice thing about using scraps of paper that were originally 12 by 12, if you have a length that is still 12 inches long and at least 2 inches wide, this is going to go much quicker. You want your strips of paper to be 2 inches by 6 inches. So since this is a full edge of a 12 by 12 piece of paper, I'm going to cut that to the 2-inch line and then turn to the 6, and then I've got my 2 strips of paper right there. Now, as I was going through my stash of scraps, I was surprised to see how many of my papers were only one-sided. They were white on the other side, which means I've had this paper for quite a while, because the trend now really is to have it double-sided, a different pattern on each side. So for what I'm doing, I want to make sure that my papers that I'm using are double-sided, because the way I'm putting my wreath together, I will be showing both sides of the paper. So again, this one isn't 12 by 12, so I'm only going to be able to get at least one. Well, I can get more strips, but I won't be able to get 2 out of 1 strip. So I'll measure that up to 6, just like that, and there's my next strip. So I'm just going to keep cutting my strips. Okay, so now I've got this big pile of strips. I've cut a ton of pieces of paper out of all of those scraps. I honestly don't even know how many are here, and I probably won't even need all of these. But I just want to make sure that I have a good variety of paper to choose from. Now, the next thing that you're going to need, I'm going to put those down, are fringe scissors. If you have never used fringe scissors before, these are so much fun. You can see here that there are actually, let's see, there's 5 blades in there. So you're basically just cutting with one squeeze of the scissors 5 little strips. So now what we're going to do is take our strips of paper and we are going to cut strips on here. Now, I don't want to cut it all the way to the end. I want to leave, maybe a 1/2 inch right there towards the end, if you can see that. And I'm just going to cut all of the papers like this. Now, a tip with fringe scissors is you don't want to cut all the way down to the blade. If you cut, here, I'll do one right here just to show you. If you cut all the way down to the blade like that, where that's where you want your cut to end, it will actually create little tears in the paper. So you're much better to actually just put the blades up much further and stop where you want to stop. So now this is going to take just a minute. So now I'm going to go through and I'm going to do this to all of my strips of paper. Okay, I think that's all the strips that I'm going to cut for now. I don't think I'm going to need all of these, but I'm going to keep these handy just in case I do. So now what I'm going to do is grab this bone folder here, and I want to take these strips and give these little fringes, I want to give them a curl. So I'm going to do that just by running this bone folder right along the edges like that. Okay, and you can see that fun little curl then that you get on all of those fringes. So now that's the next step. Now I'm going to go through and I'm going to give all of these pieces that fun little curl on their fringe. All right, so now all of my little pieces are curled. There they all are. They're so fun. Okay, one word of caution though, as I was curling these, I had some that didn't make it through the curling process. Because these are all scraps, that means that they're not all from the same brand. They all have different thicknesses, and so some of them are thinner than others. So I'd get from a really thick one and then go to a thin one and it would break. So just a word of caution there as you're going through those, to be careful so you don't tear any. I ended up tearing about 5, but I've still got these, so if I need to cut some more, I can do that. Now what I'm going to do is bring in that wreath form and my hot glue gun, and I am just going to start gluing these strips of paper onto my wreath. Let's get them out of the way there. So I want all of the seams of my strips to be in the back, so I'm just going to make this my back, and I'm just going to start with this piece right here, wrap it around, and make it so it's even on that back side. So I'll grab my hot glue gun and put a dab and kind of a dab on the paper, and then also kind of move that over to the styrofoam so it'll stay on the styrofoam, and then just pull that over just like that. And I'm just gonna keep going around, just grabbing random pieces and layering them like that. So now I only have one strip left that I need to put right in here in this little gap. So what I've done to make it a little easier is I've actually thinned out a strip. So this strip actually measures 1.5 inches by 6 inches, and by having it a little bit shorter, it's going to allow me to get under the strip before just a little bit better. So I need to curl these edges, and it tore a little bit, but that's okay, we can still make it work. So we're going to put it under there and just kind of put it into place and see if we like it. Yep, and that is going to work really good. So now I'm going to get my glue, put that glob of glue right there. Just put that into place. Now my wreath is completely finished, and I just love all of the different colors in this wreath. Now of course, if you wanted to, you could not use scraps. You could use a pack of coordinating paper so all of the paper matched perfectly, but I really kind of love how all of this paper is just a little bit different. None of it matches together perfectly, but yet when it's all used together, it just looks awesome and fantastic. So do you think you have enough paper scraps to make your own wreath? Or could you make multiple wreaths? However many wreaths you decide to make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming videos. And I also have an email newsletter that I would love for you to be a part of. And as always, you can find me at CRAFTYBLOGSTALKER.com. Thanks for joining me today.